let it go. And today we have a young lady who is a teacher in her other life, and she teaches in the public schools English as a second language. She is an ordained minister here at the Teaching of the Inner Christ, and today she's speaking to us, I am willing to let go to receive. So it's my pleasure to introduce Reverend Elaine Fuller-Zachey.
Don't speak any foreign languages up here. I hardly know any.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much for the introduction. And welcome to the Teaching of the Inner Christ. And again, happy Father's Day to all the men and to all of everyone, because we all have that part of us which makes decisions, thinks things over, and we decide to act, and we're going to do this. And that's called the masculine part of us. And then the feminine part of everyone does the work. So we're all balanced with that in order to be alive and get anything done. Anne and Peter Meyer say that nature abhors a vacuum and so acts to fill it. This includes ideas, things, love, activities, and everything. When we consciously create a vacuum in our lives, we can meditate and pray with inner Christ guidance, and that is guidance from that spiritual center within each of us to bring us our new desired good. Letting go to receive is expressed in Being a Christ, the text for the first course, Inner Sensitivity. Being a Christ, see, right here, great book. When we move, it says that when we remove energy from part of our lives, the universe will replace it with new energy. Okay? So what are you willing to let go of so you can receive something new and better? Something? Yeah? What is it you want to receive? Where do we see letting go to receive working in our lives at this point? Maybe we want it to work a little better, huh? Well, it's all actually related to growth of the individual all throughout life. We can refer to Being a Christ again, right? Page 160 by Anne and Peter Meyer, co-founders of the Teaching of the Inner Christ, or TIC, to read about the changing and changeless aspects of God. God, awareness, being, is the permanent reality. The permanent reality. The stability, the existence of the universe, multiverse, or whatever else theoretical physics believes or proves to exist. Those are only putting God into human, understandable terms. For physicists, maybe not for all of us. There is a something that extends itself into all we know or don't know. It lives and is constant movement and change. All of its extensions, expressions, projections are it, moving. Yet it is permanent. Look at the sky sometimes, you know. This is a nice example of permanence, and helps us think about movement and permanence. I was blessed with a little time to sip some coffee at Nate's Deli, at Nate's Garden Grill, and that's right next to City Farmers Nursery here in San Diego. Oh, go there. It's like a park. It's so beautiful. There were a few clouds up there in the blue, and I watched them go along slowly, just drifting. the music was, it was like music. The movement was more than directional because they kept changing shape as they went along. I know clouds are as alive as anything else, as everything else. God is life, after all, and it's the constant God in all of its parts, too, are life, including the changing clouds that I observed, right? Life is what we are made of, and as I heard Anne Meyer McKeever say, God is perfection everywhere now. That covers all of it. Oops. That includes clouds, the drops of water that make them, and the tiny bits of dust which attract and hold the water there in the first place. Right? Change is all around us. When physicists examine the very small microscopic particles that make up everything, such as protons and quarks, they find that these little things move. They move. Are they alive? Yeah, I would say so. They move in patterns instead of helter-skelter, and so they know how to move. They have intelligence and life. Also, physicists are finding that so-called empty space is made of something. Particles can just appear, boing, right? A positive one and a negative one. There they are, dancing. They move around and they collide to create a little burst of energy as they seemingly negate each other. Life is everywhere and it's changing. It lets go of one seeming reality to express as a different one. Change from one thing to another is written into the foundations of life and of existence. It's essentially what we are, and it happens if we want it to or not. I mean, it just is. But let's leave these itty-bitty particles to physicists, unless you want to read books by Stephen Hawking or Brian Greene. We don't need bitty particles now. TIC gives us a way to consciously participate in directing this change the way we desire with what we call the RUCAT prayer, R-U-C-A-T, RUCAT. To outline this prayer, it has steps. One is the R, it's recognition that God is perfection everywhere now. Perfect love, abundance, wholeness, without flaw or limit. 2, unification. We unify with that perfection using statements such as I am love, I am abundance, I am wholeness, and other as we need to. 3, C, we make our claim. We state our desire. I claim my perfect new job right now. That's a good example. 4, A, the acceptance. We accept our claim. Right? We have to accept our good. And I accept my perfect new job right now. In the acceptance part of the prayer, we release any and all false beliefs which may block manifestation. I release error beliefs that my new job isn't out there, or that the interviewer just rejects me, thinks I'm a clown. When we release limiting, incorrect beliefs, we allow ourselves to receive our manifestation. When we say something such as, I know I have the perfect employment now, and say more about the job, pay, the hours, the location, duties, and so forth, then we're acting on this. And we add or better. Or better is important because at the end of the prayer we say or better, because God may have a surprise, something better for us. Okay? In this step we let go of false, limiting beliefs and therefore allow ourselves to receive our manifestation. We accept it. T in RUCAT is thanks. Here we thank God in the body of the prayer instead of waiting to see, if it manifests or not. Okay. This too is an expression of willingness to let go so that we can receive, because with thanking God ahead of time, we show our faith that our prayer has been answered, and we allow space in our lives for its answering. So God does God's part now, right? We can use a statement such as, I release this to God, who perfectly manifests my perfect right new job now. Right? Now is good. Huh? Include what it is we need here, like the new job. So we just release this. We let go of anxiety and stress over the issue, and then we simply leave it to God. And that, that's faith. Sometimes we need to do this prayer a few times. I find that I frequently do prayers again until I reach the point at which my belief is such that I can really accept what I need and be open to recognize it coming, because maybe it's different than I planned on. What about smoking or other addictions? What about letting go of an addictive practice or mentality to receive reestablishment of good health? Right? It can happen. My father smoked for several years. He just enjoyed it, Then the evidence that linked cigarette smoking to cancer came out, became public. He quit. Just quit. That was it. Boom. Decision made, done. He kept an unopened pack in his shirt pocket. Whenever he wanted a cigarette, he took it out, looked at it, put it back. My dad was great. Wonderful father. He'd take it out to get a cigarette and never opened it. No more cigarettes. So he was certainly willing to let go of a temporary good feeling from tobacco and accept his good health instead. And I know that although he didn't know about teaching of the inner Christ, his inner Christ was guiding him to do this, giving him the desire and the strength and the willingness to have a better alternative. And me? Well, here I am. This day and age here in San Diego, I used to enjoy marijuana. Oh, yes. I mean, it was fun, One time after smoking, all I could do was laugh. Everything was funny, and I called it laughing weed. And my husband, I was so crazy that my husband just got kind of mad at me. The last time I smoked a joint was during a party at our home. I went into the garage and I found that, because some of the people were there and some of the people were in the house, I found that I was in two different places at once. Yeah, the walls were dark and they had white beams, but also they were white. Two places at the same time. Interesting, I thought, and I kind of watched. Soon after that party, I realized that this was the experience, that this experience was telling me to choose between TIC and marijuana, or other artificial fun things. Hence the two locations were actually two places in consciousness. One was limited, fun for a little while. And the other, God, was infinite discovery, infinite realization. I mean, I can sort of look into the universe. So, it was an easy choice. So here I am. Good choice. Nice experience. I was willing to let go of one thing to receive another. And this other thing was far better than I could ever dreamed at the time. So thank you, God. Think about the element of forgiveness. Sometimes it seems that we think about forgiveness and we can't because there's too much trauma. Well, I didn't have any trauma with marijuana, I just let it go. We can look at forgiveness this way, to forgive isn't telling ourselves that an incident, person, or other, something wasn't a happy experience. That's a lie. That's a lie. It's like telling yourself, I hate chocolate, I hate chocolate. It ain't gonna work. Forgiveness is just letting go of something. Right? So we don't have to waste our time reliving an experience that does us no good. I heard Reverend Norma Spry say that no matter how much we refuse to forgive, we can't change the past. It's a good way of looking at it, and that's true, isn't it? So why keep the accident, job loss, divorce, war, homelessness, or seemingly stupid action alive in our minds? Why go over it again and again? It won't cease to exist, but prayer and accepting inner Christ guidance to new, constructing ideas, services, people, job, education, or doctor can heal and build our lives into what we desire. Be willing to let go of the pain and use prayer to create new good, and meditation too. When we're seemingly stuck, we can put a prayer request in the prayer circle here at the Teaching of the Inner Christ, so they can pray about it for 2 weeks. And I invite people viewing this online to also do that. You can email it or phone it in. In addition, our inner Christ are always ready to supply the love for prayer when needed. We need only to ask for it. And I have done that. I prayed about someone with teeth gritted and said, "Oh Jesus, dear inner Christ, provide the love." And I had the faith, and I just did the prayers. And I knew that Jesus would provide the love. And it got easier and easier and easier. And then I realized, well, I'm not saying this prayer anymore. And I just realized, okay, it doesn't need to be said. And I wasn't thinking the thoughts, angry thoughts about that person that I had thought before. So I had been healed. And I found out later that this person was doing much better in their life. So that worked. Prayer works. Also, we can pray to heal, well, we can certainly pray to heal people who seemingly wronged us. Sometimes their agitation that we may feel is just them signaling us that they need our assistance. I know that was my situation when I asked Jesus to supply the love, and He gladly did it. We can do it with an ex-spouse, And here's more about my story. It was, divorce is letting go. I let go of my first marriage to build my life into what it is meant to be, really. My ex and I weren't designed to stay together as a couple, so I let go to receive freedom and opportunity to get my education at San Diego State University, a bachelor's and then a master's. Very nice. Then I became a teacher, and while teaching, I still learned. I mean, there's a saying, we learn by teaching. Oh, yes, we do. I was willing to let go of a marriage which had been restricting to me, to both of us really, and limiting, so I could do work that makes a positive difference in people's lives. Although I wasn't part of Teaching of the Inner Christ at the time, I knew I would succeed in building my new life. There was just, no alternative. It wasn't scary, it was just, sometimes it felt scary. And then, but not very often. I have faith And now I know that my inner Christ, Jesus, had been guiding me to do this. Here's another little thing. Last night my husband and I watched a movie called The Shack. I recommend this movie. It is about releasing to receive something better. The truths in the movie, I believe, probably go along with every religion that there is. So they certainly go along with what TIC teaches. The main character learned how to release something and receive something. And that's all I'm going to tell you about it, because if I tell you all about it, why would you watch it? It's also entertaining and wonderful, and it is so interesting, it just grabs you. I mean, I sat there and I was just mesmerized the whole time. It's great. So again, it's called The Shack. And sometimes we need to deal with mental inhibitors. They're called mental inhibitors. These are things that get in our way of forgiving and moving on. Being a Christ, starting with page 138 and going on for a ways, talks about healing these error ideas. And it defines our error beliefs, what they are, so we can think, oh, okay, well, I do this sometimes, or maybe I don't. That includes belief in poverty, the need to dominate, hatred, guilt, blaming others for our problems. Then this chapter specifies truths for us to pray and meditate on. Truths which dissolve each of these error beliefs, including unlimited good, respect for individuality, love and forgiveness, self-forgiveness, and acceptance of the self as the cause and creator of our own lives, of our own experiences. So I invite you to research those and see which ones apply to your own lives. And people online, you can order Being a Christ through TIC. So I know that when new work, friends, home, car, or something else is right for us and we're willing to receive it, we can let go of fear, maybe with a little relapse here or there, but then we just step right in and we do the prayer work and we let go and receive our good. With inner Christ guidance, we can pray for clarity about what to let go and how, what new to accept and how to accept it. We can meditate about it and be open to ideas, people, conversations, and other means by which our good comes. Right? It comes from God through whatever channel or channels, And that's being willing to receive. And it works. And I thank you for your attention.
Thank you.